The most powerful person in the room is not the loudest. It is the one who is unshakable, the one who does not react when provoked, the one who does not explain himself when misunderstood, the one who does not chase when someone walks away. And yet, people take him seriously. Everyone feels his presence. Why? Because he has understood something that most people never will, that real power is never displayed. It is only felt. You were taught a lie from childhood. Be honest. Keep everyone happy. Be nice. And you believed that this was the formula for success in life. But what did the real world do? The real world turned your niceness into your weakness. Nice without boundaries is not respected, it gets used. Today we are not talking about being nice. We are talking about being aware. These 9 laws will not make you cold or calculating. They will make you conscious. And when that awareness arrives, everything around you begins to shift. Law 1, Law of Silent Leverage. Notice something. Often, the one who talks the most is compensating for the least leverage. He is filling his anxiety with words. He speaks not because he has something valuable to say, but because silence makes him deeply uncomfortable. The person who stays quiet, who observes, who only speaks when it truly matters, every single word he says carries weight. People automatically pay attention to him because his words are scarce, and what is scarce is always valuable. When you do not react in a conversation, a psychological shift happens. The other person becomes uncomfortable. They start revealing their insecurities. They keep talking simply because your silence is making them nervous. Without doing anything at all, you have already learned more about them than they intended to share. Information is leverage, and people who reveal their strategy, their pain, and their desperation in the very first conversation lose that leverage permanently. Silence is not weakness. Silence is leverage. Law 2, Law of Emotional Detachment. When someone insults you and you instantly flare up in that exact moment, you hand him the authority that was yours. Feeling anger is natural, but acting on anger is a choice. And that choice almost always puts you in a weaker position. The person who is emotionally grounded treats every situation like a puzzle to be solved. Someone said something cruel. That is data. Someone is trying to manipulate you. That is also data. A strategic mind notices offense, then refuses to be driven by it. When you take offense visibly, you are essentially announcing that someone found a weak spot and successfully hit it. But when you respond with calm clarity, you send a very different message, that your identity is so solid that no word or action can shake its foundation. Feel your emotions. Process them privately, but never let them become your decision maker. Do not react. Decode. Then decide. Law 3, LAW, of Controlled Imperfection. This will sound counterintuitive. But people who try to appear completely perfect actually trigger a quiet threat response in others. People become jealous, maintain distance, and secretly root against them. But the person who shares a small vulnerability, who acknowledges a small weakness, people are genuinely drawn toward them. Their guard comes down. Trust builds faster. Benjamin Franklin observed something remarkable. If you ask your rival for a small favor, they end up liking you more. Because when they help you, their brain decides you must be worth their attention. Used ethically, this builds trust faster. Used badly, it becomes manipulation. The line matters, and you need to know where it is. Appearing slightly imperfect makes you relatable and approachable. But this is an art form. Show a scratch. Never show your throat. For law of mere influence. Here is something worth sitting with. Most people are deeply focused on themselves, their fears, their goals, their story. They want to be understood, to be validated, to feel that what they are going through actually matters. And the person who is skilled at making others feel genuinely heard becomes influential without force, without pressure, without demanding anything. Mirroring is a powerful tool. When you subtly match someone's body language, their speaking pace, and reflect their own words back to them, their brain produces a familiarity signal. People trust people who feel familiar, people who feel similar to them. This is why the best negotiators, the best leaders, the best communicators, they all listen deeply first, observe carefully, and then respond in the language the other person is already using. This is not flattery. This is the science of connection. And when genuine connection exists, influence naturally follows. Law 5, Law of Outcome, Freedom. Neediness kills respect. That sentence is short, but it carries an entire philosophy inside it. When you are desperate for any outcome, a job, a relationship, a deal, that desperation shows up in your body language, in your words, in your energy. The other person feels it before you say a single word. And when they feel it, the power shifts entirely. Now you are in the weaker position without even realizing it. But the person who can genuinely walk away, who can say that if this does not work out, that is completely fine. I will move forward. That person is almost always in the strongest position at the table. In negotiations, in relationships, in business, Power almost always belongs to the person who has options and is genuinely willing to use them. This is not emotional coldness. This is self-respect in its purest form. When you set your standards and hold to them, the world adjusts. Because you are taking yourself seriously first. Law 6. Law of strategic conflict. If you were taught that conflict is something to avoid, that keeping peace with everyone is the right move, but that approach keeps you comfortable, it does not keep you sharp. Friction is the engine of growth. When someone challenges you, when real competition exists, when someone pushes back on your ideas, with force, you sharpen. The discomfort you feel in that resistance is precisely what makes you evolve into a better version of yourself. Strategic conflict does not mean deliberately creating enemies or seeking chaos. It means embracing competition instead of fearing it. It means not running from healthy friction. And if you ever need to unite a team or a group, nothing is more powerful than a common challenge, a shared obstacle that people can face together and solve together. People forget their differences when they have something meaningful to overcome. Resistance creates evolution. The people who choose permanent comfort choose permanent stagnation. Law 7. Law of adaptive persona. Some people believe that being exactly the same in every situation is authenticity, but there is a significant difference between uncontrolled behavior and authentic behavior. A mature, grounded person understands that different rooms demand different energy. The tone you use with your boss will not be the tone you use with your closest friend. The presence you bring to a negotiation will not be the presence you bring to a vulnerable personal conversation. This is not fakeness. This is mastery of self. Look at water. It changes its form based on every container it enters. But water always remains water. Your core identity, your values, your self-respect, your internal compass, those never change. But your expression, your approach, your energy must adapt contextually to serve you well. People who cannot do this consistently play the wrong note at the most important moments of their lives. Be water. Change form. Never change what you are made of. What is the most expensive mistake a person can make? Blind trust. People who trust instantly, openly, and without any real basis become repeat victims of betrayal. And then they swing between two painful extremes, either trusting everyone completely or trusting no one at all. But calculated trust is the middle path. You observe, you watch behavior more than you listen to words. Because people say things based on their mood, but character consistently shows up in actions. Give small responsibilities first. Observe how they are handled. Share information gradually. Watch where that information goes. This is not paranoia. This is wisdom built from paying attention. Trust is a bank account. Deposits take time. Withdrawals happen fast. One betrayal can erase years of built trust in a matter of days. So verify before you rely. Trust slowly. Withdraw quickly. Law 9. Law of shadow integration. This is the most important law of all. Every person carries a shadow, aggression, ego, ambition, anger, a capacity for darkness. Society taught you to suppress all of it, to deny it, to hide it behind a polished surface. But what you suppress does not disappear. It leaks out in unhealthy ways. At the wrong moments, toward the wrong people, in ways you cannot explain and cannot control. The path forward is not suppression. It is integration. Acknowledge these parts of yourself. Own them. Understand what triggers them. A person who is genuinely capable of force, of dominance, of intensity, but who consistently chooses discipline instead, that is the most grounded, most respected, and most powerful person in any room. That power is settled. It does not come from nervous energy or performance. It comes from the deep awareness that I am capable, and I am choosing how I show up. Real power is not about manipulation. Real power is control of yourself, first and always. When you no longer need to impress anyone to feel worthy, when you no longer need to defend your choices to feel confident, when you no longer need to prove anything to feel secure because your presence speaks before your words ever do, that is when you carry real weight. Calm, grounded, undeniable. The world rewards two types of people, those who manage themselves and those who do not. Those who are aware of what drives them, what weakens them, what shapes their decisions, and those who go through life reacting, chasing, needing. You are hearing this today. You now have the awareness. The application is entirely your responsibility. Decide wisely,